moving quickly, another handoff to Rankin. Rankin finds a hole, he's at the 30, makes it to the 20, he's got one man to beat. Rankin walks into the end zone. Into the backfield, Braden Wright looks over top, he's going to try to find a man, he's got Alec Tatum. Tatum bobbles it, but he's in the end zone. What a connection between Braden Wright and Alec Tatum. Handoff to Rankin, Rankin right up the middle, and he's in the end zone for a Bearcat touchdown. Missing a couple of our normal guys, but we've got Steven Roman filling in today.
Glad to be here too.
Yeah, we appreciate you having you here. Some big Northwest news to talk about. It's been kind of slow in terms of the Northwest Bearcat sports department, but between football, basketball, a lot to talk about today. We'll start with Northwest football and games of sorts. I'm not going to call them full-on games, but games will be played in the fall here. A deal coming together between Northwest, Washburn, and Central Missouri will play a kind of round-robin format on November 7th. Northwest will head to Topeka to play Washburn, and then on November 14th, Washburn will head to Warrensburg to play Central Missouri, and then on the 21st, Central Missouri will come to Bearcat Stadium to play Northwest. Can say that game will be live on KZLX, that November 21st game. So football on KZLX later in the year, but two games, and the way it's set up is they're kind of more scrimmages. I think the best way to describe it is it'll look a lot like an NFL preseason game. We'll see the starters. I guess they called it a gentleman's agreement that the starters would play the first half and then other players would get the opportunity to come in and get some reps. So see a lot of moving parts there, but at least a way for these teams to see what they've got this fall.
Yeah, I think it's important that Northwest is able to get this done. Obviously, football has been practicing for a few weeks, and for the last couple of weeks, we haven't really known what are they practicing for. Are they just practicing to practice, or are they actually going to be getting prepared for something? And although these games really don't mean anything, they are just scrimmages, preseason games kind of thing. There's no title to be played, that they're playing for. These games don't go on their official records or anything. At least they get to see another opponent come in and play an actual football game against another opponent on the field later this year, and hopefully they'll be able to do it safely, because I've said it before, that's the number one priority right now. But it seems like Northwest and these other schools in Washburn and Central Missouri are doing the right things when it comes to that. So if that can continue, I'll be excited to see football coming up in a few weeks.
And I'd say it's about time that Northwest got it scheduled. We saw Pitt State and some other schools in the MIAA get games on their schedule way before Northwest did. And if you're kind of a powerhouse football program like Northwest has been known to be, it's kind of shocked that they weren't one of the first teams to go out there and really try to schedule games and get a season going.
I say these guys are competitors. They want to be out there, It's really nice that they can get this opportunity. But like you said, we keep them safe, keep them healthy, because these games really don't mean anything. But I think it is good to have them get live reps, not against the same practice squad, Get ready for next year.
All three of these games will be a 3 o'clock start time, so a little bit further along in the afternoon than we normally see Bearcat football with those 1:30 start times here at Bearcat Stadium. But one chance, don't really know what the fan situation will look like. They're still getting that figured out. But one chance to really see the Bearcats at home this year, and again, it's just a chance to kind of figure out where everything sits, where everything stands, and the interesting thing for me with this is normally in a season, a lot of your freshmen are redshirting. In this situation, there is no eligibility lost if they come in and play. These aren't necessarily games that go in the record book, so a chance to get a lot of bodies into the game, especially there in that second half, is we'll see the starters. The other question for me, at least offensively for Northwest, is I think the most important thing is with a new offensive coordinator coming in this season, this is an opportunity to put that new system in place, see what it looks like on the field with the starters, and really get a feel for it before going into next year. Kind of would be hard to, at least for sitting here, hard to bring in the new offensive coordinator and then wait a year to really see what happens.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Jacob. For Todd Sturdy, like you mentioned, this new offensive coordinator, he gets to kind of implement his system. He's been doing that all offseason, and they've been, using it in practice, obviously. But seeing how it will run against an actual opponent will be, a key thing for Northwest, because they'll get to see, before real games start that actually count, hopefully next season, if all things, go as planned. They'll get to kind of implement Todd Sturdy's offensive system, see how that gels with the players they have on the current roster. and then, see what Rich Wright is thinking and, how he wants to modify it, if at all, going into next season. I think being able to have that opportunity is key this season, even, in the midst of a pandemic. Being able to, test that out against another team is, I think, an important thing if you're Todd Sturdy in Northwest.
Everybody has a plan until they get punched. So,
Exactly.
Like you said, it'd be nice to see what they do against a real opponent.
I mean, since with the new offensive coordinator coming in, Sam, like you were saying, it can really help and benefit the Bearcats, especially they don't have to go into a season with a new coordinator and, just kind of put something together. They have time. They can really take time and implement plays in the playbook that they think will work and, put the best 11 men on the field to get the job done on offense.
I think the other question for me is, what do we see at the quarterback position for Northwest? We saw it last year, kind of at the end of the year. It was still Braden Wright's team, but we saw a lot of Mike Owensy and trying some different things out of the quarterback position. You go back to the final game of the year against Ferris, where it just did not work on offense. Went through multiple quarterbacks in that game just trying to get something to work. What do we see at the quarterback position? Is it still Braden Wright's football team? Does he come out as a junior now, and obviously not using that year of eligibility, but does he come out and what do we see from him, or just what's going on with the football program at the quarterback position? I think that's one thing to really look out for in these two games, because I think we'll see a lot of different things there and maybe trying a lot of different things out on offense to find that fit going into next year.
One of two things. Either he's going to – we've seen him kind of struggle with that old offensive coordinator, so either they're going to come into this season and he's going to click with the new coordinator and the plays, or he won't have it. So it's going to be interesting to see how he personally reacts to having a new coordinator and see if he can get done what needs to be done.
And you never know, this new coordinator might cater to his needs a little better. You don't know what style of offense he ran in high school or what he's used to doing. This might be the guy for him. If he wasn't really jiving with the last offensive coordinator, this could be the stuff we need, get us going in the right direction.
The biggest thing for Braden Wright is we know he's that dual threat quarterback. He runs the football a lot. That was some of the bigger plays we saw last year, is those read options and when he would make the right reads. So I think we'll still see a lot of that. Owen sees it the same way as well, is that dual threat option. It's just, you kind of go back to last year and there was just some plays here or there where just didn't seem like it was the right play call at the right time, and that's what just things to get worked out, things to get figured out, and the defense will be fine. It's Northwest. Defense is always good. Mm-hmm. It's the offense that last year at times it looked like one of the best offenses in the country, and then at other times it'd sputter out and you couldn't get much going, and it's more that consistency that I think this team needs to look for in those, I guess, 4 quarters that the starters will play throughout the 2 scrimmages they have here set.
Yeah, that's the important thing, Jacob, is, defense, like you mentioned. Defense at Northwest is not a problem. It won't be a problem this year. It won't be a problem next year and for years to come, I wouldn't imagine, with the way that unit has been playing for years. Offensively, like you said as well, they showed a lot of flashes last year, but also at times, especially against Ferris State in that final game of the year, the offense couldn't get anything going. But they still have a lot of weapons. Amani Donadell is back this year. Gus Gomez has taken steps forward as well. In the Troy Harper, he's another receiver that has a lot of potential, I think, here at Northwest. So there's a lot of weapons. They just need to figure out how they can, utilize them to the best of the ability with Todd Sturdy as the new offensive coordinator. And I think having these 4 quarters to kind of get a pre-game plan kind of thing for next season, to kind of work it out like I guess a preseason, like we mentioned, to kind of try to test out different combinations of personnel and different play calls within those sets of personnel. I think doing that will only benefit Northwest in the long run.
We'll now go through the games this week. Before we do so, lead change in the pick standings. The first one of 2020. Sam Reeves has jumped Sam Steinmeier. Steinmeier had a terrible Monday night when 0-2 gave the lead to Sam. So Sam Reeves on top at 57-29 with an 8-6 week. Sam Steinmeier now 56-30 with 6-8 this week. I got a couple games back. move up to second or third with a 55-31 record, 8-6 this week. And Grant.
What's
at
interesting is you guys are all
55-31.
relatively.
We've picked
close.
every game
Yeah,
except
it's
for the
crazy.
Thursday night football games this season.
Do you
And
guys-
somehow there's 2 games that separate everybody.
Do you discuss and then make your picks, or you make
Yes.
your picks and bring? Okay, I could see like the
I have
discussion
my
making you
I
guys
have
get
my
the same.
picks though.
Unless it's
determined
somebody non-NFC East playing
Yeah.
an NFC East team, then we just be like, everyone on the non-NFC East team. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, we're not talking about that garbage.
Like game 1, we'll just do that right now. Bills 4-2, 13-point favorites at the Jets,
As a
0-6.
Jets fan, I can't even do it. Nope.
Okay, everybody's on the Bills. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Bills get a bye week while they're playing football.
Oh jeez. Oh my.
So we'll go ahead and get through that one quickly. Steinmeier and Grant also picking the Bills. We've got
Darn it.
their picks this week. So Sam, we have an advantage this week.
We do.
They got to send in their picks early, so we know what they're picking.
Oh, good. Okay,
So
good.
we can take the opportunity to pick differently, if so choose. So that's the
Exactly.
benefit of being here when others are not.
Read theirs off before we make our decision. That way we can do that.
We can do that. Game number 2, probably what's this for the division lead of the NFC East at this point? The Cowboys at 2-4, 1-point favorites at team name here at 1-5. Grant is unsurprisingly taking Washington,
always is taking
and Sam is unsurprisingly taking Dallas.
Okay.
We'll send it to the other Sam over here. Who do you got in this one?
Oh boy. I mean, can I pick neither? Is that a choice?
If you want, you can pick a tie, and then if they get the tie, you get a win. Because you got to remember, ties per the WSK picks rule books are losses because ties are stupid. That is the quote from Trevor Mater from years ago.
That's funny.
So you can pick a tie if you
if
so
I pick
choose.
a tie and it is a tie, I should win the entire picks for the rest of the year. No questions asked. Me how crazy that would be. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to pick the Cowboys. I just don't have faith in either of these teams, but I feel like the Cowboys' weapons on the outside are just better than Washington. That's the reason.
You know, I'd really like to think Ezekiel Elliott could run it down the throat of the Washington football team, but I'm actually going to take Washington in this game because of that outstanding defense. I really like Chase Young. He's a ball player, and I think he's going to get in there and cause some havoc.
I feel like Grant Allen is sitting next to me right now. That's a Grant take right there.
Smart man he is.
There you
Roman?
go.
I mean, it's really unanimous. I'm taking the football team. I mean,
Which one?
the Washington. Oh,
Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for clarifying.
Insert name. My apologies.
Insert team name here. Okay.
Yes, I should have said insert team name here. But yeah, that's a dumpster fire of a division. Yeah, I could care less who wins.
I'm taking the Cowboys in this game. Reason being, I think the skill players. There's so much, at least offensively. Dallas's skill player positions are still explosive, still have the ability to score lots of points. I think week 2 of Andy Dalton, you really can't get any worse.
Right.
So I think we'll see a much better version of Andy Dalton. I mean, this is
Man, that's a hot take right there. I don't.
well,
can't
saying a
get
much
worse.
better version of Andy Dalton.
Okay,
I
yeah,
mean,
only
it's-
2 interceptions this week is what you're saying.
Okay,
There you
Jake.
go.
Real quick, let me pose this to you. Look at the comments and stuff that these anonymous players are coming out with. They don't teach us. They were unprepared. This and that. You really think that the Cowboys are really going to want to play? I mean, look good. I mean,
I'd like to think
But
so.
Washington?
Yeah.
That's just
It's
a
not
whole
like the Cowboys are
dumpster
going out
fire.
here to play the Packers.
Right. Exactly.
They're going out to play Washington.
I mean, it's just a
Like, this is a
dumpster.
terrible football game.
it's
We're moving
awful.
on.
Yeah, so I don't want to talk about
Moving
this
on.
anymore.
I don't want to talk
Please,
about it any
move.
longer than we already have.
Let's move on.
We'll talk about a much better game now. The Panthers at 3-3 at the Saints at 3-2. Saints 7.5-point favorites. The Saints this year have been a kind of up and down football team. We've seen a bad version of the Saints team. We've seen kind of that Saints team from years past. I think that's the team we'll start seeing more so here in the future. Both Sam and Grant are taking the Saints. I'll make it easy with my pick. I'm taking the Saints to cover that spread and win this game as well. Roman?
Come back to me.
It's not how this works, but okay.
Okay.
Saints, Drew Brees is the man. You know, I don't have a lot of faith in Teddy Bridgewater. I really like the guy. He seems like a nice guy and he cares. I just think Drew Brees is better. And then, you have Alvin Kamara. And I'm going to refer back to that game against the Packers when he just absolutely looked like he was running in slow motion with just
Yeah, he did.
demolishing players. Like, that guy, My money's on them every time.
Saints win. I think the spread is actually about right. I wouldn't be surprised if this game is closer, but Saints win.
I was gonna take Carolina, but after him mentioning Alvin Kamara, the Panthers don't have McCaffrey, so I'm gonna go with the Saints.
They do have Mike Davis though, who's been really good.
I like the Carolina's offensive line. I think that has a lot to do with CMC's success.
All right, so everybody picking the Saints, nobody going with the underdog Panthers. The Lions 2-3 at the 1-5 Falcons. The Falcons are the 2.5-point favorite. The Falcons finally helped me out last week. Went on an island, made the pick, and the sports psychology is saying new coach gives a boost. Worked. Falcons get the win. I still think this Falcons team is much better than their record has shown. We know that because of just the weird things of forgetting how to play football early in the season. I think the Falcons are the better football team in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Ryan is one of the leading passers this season, as he has been even with bad football teams in years past.
Other defenses.
Well, yeah, their defense is bad. I think Matt Ryan's still the better quarterback than Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
This is a close game, but I've got the Falcons going 2-5 and starting to kind of find a groove and get their record back to where it kind of should be and have a chance to at least salvage somewhat of a season.
Okay.
Yeah, this game will be very close. I think DeAndre Swift for the Lions kind of had a coming out party last week, but at the same time, Julio Jones is back and he's looking extremely good this year. Calvin Ridley on top of that is still an extremely good receiver. Falcons win a close one.
I like to think the big name players like Todd Gurley, Matt Ryan could beat the Lions, but the way they've been playing, as much as I hate to say it, I'm going to go up north and take the Lions.
Roman?
I'm going to take Atlanta.
Taking the Falcons. Sam, who'd you pick?
The Falcons.
Okay, that's what I thought. Had to make sure here. Can't mess up the leader's lead here by putting it down wrong. We're in terms of us four, Steinmeier's going out on an island, but he agrees with you. He's picking the Lions. Grant is taking the Falcons. Next game up, the Browns at 4-2, 3-point favorites at the 1-4-1 Bengals. The Browns looked atrocious last week.
Oh, yeah.
Most of that on the back of Baker Mayfield having a very poor game. Both Sam and Grant, however, are taking the Browns. Roman, start over there with you. Who do you got in this one?
The Browns. Both teams look atrocious, and I really like Joe Burrow, but the way that the Bengals have been playing, they are awful. So I'm gonna go with the Browns.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals here because the main difference between the Bengals and the Browns is that the Browns are pretenders and they don't know that, and the Bengals suck and they know that. So I think going into this game, Joe Burrow is just gonna say, "I'm beating Baker Mayfield and I'm gonna shut the Browns up." So I think they've got a little more motivation going into this game than the Browns do. So I'm gonna take the Bengals.
Oh boy, this game is tough for me to pick. Jeez. Oh my. I'm gonna go with the Browns. Originally I had Bengals written down, and I'm going with the Browns.
See, Sam, I'm doing the same thing as you. Every part of me wants to pick the Bengals.
No idea. Oh, plus Mixon is out, by the way. Joe Mixon is out this week.
And
okay, that actually does.
That impacts it a lot for me.
Anyway.
That does change things a lot.
Your stakes aren't as big for you here.
Yeah.
But the Browns are one of those teams, and the thing is, I agree with you. After last week, they're not a division-winning team.
No.
I still think this is a Browns team that we're going to sit here and they're going to be the 6 or 7 seed and make the playoffs. The schedule's there. The talent on the team is there.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is the kind of game the Browns normally lose. We'll now go to Off My Rocker. Sam and I will go last because we're residents here. Who wants to go first over here? Steven, do you want to be thrown into the fire on this segment?
Yeah, so this is just a real hot take.
This is as crazy as you can get.
This isn't crazy.
For idea.
Yeah.
We've been doing this now. This is the second year of this segment. No Off My Rocker has ever come true.
Okay.
It's
Well, I think
never
this
happened.
I think this is the first time that's going to change because
Like,
The goal is not to have
goal
it
is you
come.
want.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say Aaron Rodgers
Like,
for
you could-
MVP, but
You could say like the Giants.
That'll
are gonna win the
work,
Super
'cause I don't
Bowl.
think that'll
Like,
happen.
that's
I see,
an
like,
off my
yeah,
rocker.
okay. Well, then I'm definitely going to go with Aaron Rodgers for MVP. You know, I definitely can see it happening. Probably not, but I'm really going to pull for him just because, you know.
See, I won't say you're off your rocker, but I will say it's not going to happen
it's
because
tipping
Russell
back.
Wilson's won. I think right now Derrick Henry should be the MVP because I still am old school with what the MVP award should be. There's an Offensive Player of the Year award for a reason. That goes to the guy with the best stats. Why don't we give the MVP award to the player
Most
that's
valuable
actually the
player.
most
Valuable
valuable?
player, yeah.
We don't do that anymore. It's a quarterback award.
It is.
So I
When's
think
the last time a running back won MVP?
long time
Peyton
ago.
Hillis.
Yeah. And he had one good season, didn't he?
He was, yeah. He
Did
was
he
with
win the
Browns.
MVP?
Did Peterson
I think
win
he
the
did.
MVP?
Or at least
I know he was on. I think he was just
Peterson
on
definitely
Madden.
won
I
it.
think
Yeah, it was Adrian
Peter-
Peterson. I think he's the last one.
Peterson was the
Well,
last one.
yeah, I felt like the Madden cover
But I
actually
think-
is the MVP.
No.
not always.
No.
Not necessarily at all.
I think that the biggest thing with that is I think it's already predetermined. It's going to Russell Wilson,
Oh, for sure.
unless
I would
something
think.
happens. But
Yeah, I could
it's not.
definitely
It's
see.
not crazy. I think
Yeah.
he's right now. He's in the running.
It's Russell's award to lose. You know, it's.
But we
he's
are in
definitely
week
the
6.
favorite. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's already week 6.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Roman, we got to roll through these. What do you got?
There's talk.
I mean, you've already had like 5 on the show today, so I mean,
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah, there's talk that Odell wants out of Cleveland. He's gonna come over to Kansas City. I want to see the Chiefs trade Sammy Watkins to the Cleveland Browns for Odell Beckham Jr. Maybe throw a pick or 2 in there
They don't-
and
oh my
bring
God.
Odell Beckham over to the Chiefs. And you know what? On top of that, sign Ryan Fitzpatrick to back up Mahomes.
okay, that's great. But the Chiefs are out of money. That dried up.
Yeah, you gonna give him the
It's-
money?
Because you got to remember when you trade somebody, their contract comes with them.
Mm-hmm.
Create a super team. That's great. It's impossible. It's like there is no money to get Odell to Kansas City. So just on that basis, you're
Off the
crazy.
run.
But like, taking a step back, I don't know if I'd rather have Odell than Sammy Watkins in case.
No, I wouldn't.
Sammy
I wouldn't
Watkins
And for the
is
sake of
always
the
hurt.
Browns, I know that everyone.
Odell.
I know the story this week was, Odell needs out of Cleveland. He's too good to be in Cleveland. If you're the Browns, why would you get rid of Odell Beckham? He's your best offensive weapon.
Him and Jarvis Landry aren't.
Jarvis Landry hasn't had a good year this year
No,
at all.
It just doesn't seem like I don't like the Browns' offense. I know we're going off on a different topic here. I should probably stop. But like, it just doesn't seem like they're trying to get the ball to the right players when they should. But we can talk about that
I'm
later.
with you. My up, Jacob.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. The Chicago Bears are currently 5-1. They're winning the NFC North. Currently in second, Packers 4-1, Lions 2-3 in third, and Vikings in last place in the division at 1-5. My off my rocker is the following: the Chicago Bears will finish in last place in the NFC North.
I like this
I
one.
love that actually.
That's
I think you're crazy,
I don't think it's completely out of the question.
but I love it.
Yeah, I think
'Cause
this is a good one.
I could
like
definitely
it.
see the
I like
Bears are known to crash and burn, so I could definitely see that happening. And the Vikings, they usually turn it around the second half
Better
of the
than the
season.
record.
Yeah, it's
I
you're
like
not off
this
your
one.
rocker. I don't think. I think
I
you're
like this
you're right there.
This
I
one
don't.
is-
I think
yeah.
that one. I think the Bears are good enough. The Vikings have put themselves in a situation. I can see third. Absolutely see third.
Sure.
And third is good enough to make the playoffs. I don't think the Vikings will get them. I think they're too far back.
Yeah. That was my take as well. But yeah, thought that was a good one.
So mine's a bit of a story.
Okay.
It's going to take a couple plays to get there. So
All right.
we already know, based on some off my rockers this season, I have the Jets going 0-16.
And the Giants, but that didn't work.
That didn't
Yeah.
work, but the Jets are still there.
Yeah.
So I still think they go 0-16 this year. They fire everybody.
They should fire everybody now.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
Okay?
even the player.
Even the players. Get rid of
the
everybody.
the only thing that
No,
the Jets
they-
have is their name.
No, I'm talking GM, coach, offensive coordinator,
A
defensive
whole
coordinator. They fire a lot of
Culture
people.
change is needed.
Whole culture change.
Culture change.
I think it'd be really dumb for Trevor Lawrence not to go to the NFL. There's money or no
Agreed.
money.
No.
Get to the NFL. The Jets draft Trevor Lawrence. They turn around
Okay.
and make the playoffs the next season as the 7th seed.
Yeah.
Bold.
Yeah, they do. Jets.
You are off
Jets,
your
Jets.
rocker.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, so what does Trevor Lawrence do differently for the Jets than what they're doing now?
If they have another coach.
That does also. I think it's more the coach that makes a bigger impact than Trevor Lawrence. Because honestly, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm taking the opposite of you. I would pick up a geology major if I was him, and I'd stay an extra year. Heck no.
Look,
keep me away from New York.
I understand that in the sense of you want to win, but this is the NFL. You need to get there. You need to get your rookie deal over with.
That's true.
And if you got to spend 4 years with the Jets, spend 4 years with the Jets and get out.
He just better hope he doesn't get hurt during those times.
Right, but if you go back and play a year at Clemson, the same argument's there. If you get hurt at Clemson,
then you get no money.
Then you get no money.
Very true. I didn't even think about that.
Well, look at Tua. He got hurt, and he's about to start for the Dolphins.
We'll see how that goes.
I know it was one play, and I kind of judge it off that. Sam Darnold, after that run against the Broncos, he's not that bad of a quarterback. He needs weapons, and he needs a coach who will help him win and get to that level. The Jets do not need Trevor Lawrence.
Right, but if Trevor Lawrence is on the board, you're taking Trevor Lawrence.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Again, the Browns can't get Trevor Lawrence. The Browns are going to have way too high of a
You got to think if the Jets don't take him,
draft.
who's going to take him? Probably like
whoever's number two.
Whoever's number two.
I'm just saying who those teams going to be is what I was getting at.
Probably the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants.
They don't
Trevor Lawrence is better than Daniel Jones.
He's way better than Daniel Jones.
Trevor Lawrence is one of those players, and he's been that player for 3 years.
But Daniel Jones needs
If
weapons as well.
Trevor Lawrence is there, unless you're the Chiefs. And right now, I think just the answer is unless you're the Chiefs,
That's it.
And the
you
Ravens?
don't. Everyone else takes Trevor Lawrence.
I think the Ravens.
If you're
take him
Ravens,
too.
you take Trevor Lawrence because Trevor Lawrence can actually still run the football.
That's true.
I know he's big, but he can run the football.